I'm in the northwest corner of the Archdiocese of Omaha, about 250 miles from St. Cecilia's Cathedral, at the place where the westernmost parish in the Archdiocese used to be. I'm in Naper, Nebraska, in Boyd County, population 89 at the 2020 census. Most of the territory that is now Boyd County was actually first Sioux and Ponca reservations. In 1889, a treaty was signed between Native Americans and the U.S. government, opening the land north of the Niobrara River for settlement. President Harrison declared the territory open in February of 1890. In 1891, Ralph R. Naper moved to a homestead and built a house 1/4 mile south of the present town site of Naper. He stocked a small supply of general merchandise, but it didn't take long for him to realize that he should have located on the old Rosebud Trail. In 1892, he moved his store to the southeast corner of what is now Main Street here in Naper. The first reference to a Catholic community in this area in the official Catholic directory comes from 1899, listing Basin as a station of St. Mary's in Spencer. Basin was another frontier town about 4 miles southeast of Naper. Basin was named after the low basins and small lakes in the area. Today, the township in which Naper lies is still called Basin. The book, A Continuing History of Naper, states that the school, Catholic church, and cemetery were located about 1/2 mile from the town of Basin. The Naper town site also lists the Basin town, church, cemetery, and school, saying that the cemetery and school were on land owned by George Lucan. You can see the cemetery and school marked on a 1904 map, but no church is shown. Speaking with a local resident, I was able to confirm that there was indeed a cemetery at this location, but the graves were moved to the cemetery southeast of Naper. Today, nothing is left at this location to mark where Basin once was. Following the official Catholic directory from 1901 to 1907, Basin was listed as a mission of St. Mary's in Spencer. The mission was called Sacred Heart. Then in 1908, Basin is no longer listed. It seems that the Catholic mission was moved here to Naper, since Naper first appears listed as a mission of Saints Peter and Paul in Butte in 1909. Perhaps it's simply a typo in the directory, but for 2 years the Naper mission is listed as St. Joseph, until 1911 when it's again listed as Sacred Heart. According to the Saints Peter and Paul Butte 2004 Centennial Directory, the building of the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Naper was started in 1907, when pledges and donations were given by 66 donors, many of whom were not Catholic. One old-timer remembered hearing a Protestant lady who solicited pledges for the Catholic Church, saying that she did it because the Protestants already had a church, and she thought the Catholics ought to have one as well. The Sacred Heart Church was indeed completed here at the west end of Naper in 1907. As you can see behind me, the church building is still here, though it's used as a museum. The The wing was added as a parish hall and kitchen in 1974 when the church was remodeled and redecorated. Being only a few miles from the South Dakota border, I found it interesting that Naper was served by priests from the Diocese of Rapid City for a period of time, according to the official Catholic directory. From 1935 to 1961, a priest came from Herrick, South Dakota, and from 1963 to 1969, Naper was attended by the priest at Immaculate Conception at Bone Steel in South Dakota. From 1970, Sacred Heart remained a mission of Butte until its closure in 2003. In 2007, a parish merger occurred of the three remaining Boyd County parishes, Saints Peter and Paul in Butte, St. Mary's in Spencer, and Immaculate Conception in Lynch. This new parish, with 3 church locations, took on the name of Sacred Heart Parish of Boyd County. The name was chosen in honor of this parish in Naper that had closed 4 years prior, especially to encourage former members of this parish to remain active in the new county-wide parish. Today, Mass is still celebrated 14 miles away at Saints Peter and Paul in Butte and 24 miles away at St. Mary's Church in Spencer.